was it always your intention that the same actor, that Charisse in this case, play Nikia and the rabbi?
Yeah, in every draft of the play that's been specified, I I think a lot of, any playwright probably enjoys this particular magic of theater and the particular games of theater, and doubling is a device we accept, but I don't like it when it's arbitrary. I like it when it means something. But then also it sometimes emerges from practical considerations. So I remember writing the first draft of the play and getting to that point and being like, I think now he goes to see the rabbi. And all I'd said about his wife says something like, here, the rabbi's cool. And the first thing, the rabbi could be anybody. And I remember thinking well, it's a cast of 7. And no one's going to want to pay another actor to show up in this for one scene late. And it also just felt a little arbitrary. And then I was like, well, and so then very quickly I was like, I should double this with another person in the play, and there was a little bit of a producerial concern coming out. But as soon as I thought that, I was like, well, let me see which choice exploits this for the greatest aesthetic payoff. And as soon as it struck me that it could be doubled with the actress who plays Nikia, I was like, it was interesting to me on so many levels, because it sort of expands instantly in a moment, like this sort of what we're seeing in terms of what Jewishness can look like. And then someone said to me, I thought this was beautiful. This wasn't explicitly my intention, but someone said, it's almost as if you could read that scene almost as a dream in which his lost love comes back to him in this other form that is the most accepting possible form, who just wants to listen to him and give him as much time as possible to deal with his own concerns. And I was like, but I think that is one of the ways the scene works. I don't think it's it's all a dream. But so I made that choice consciously. And it always felt right to me, and I sort of never questioned it from the first draft, yeah.
I appreciate the Bobby Ewing reference. Well done. What of the audiences? I'm so curious, because when I saw it, there was actually a moment where some people started applauding after, I think it was after Reuben's monologue, and it was so jarring as an audience member to hear that. And I was curious if at other shows, what is the reaction that you're hearing from the audience members?
Well, early on, we've had some vocal, what's happening?
Audience questions.
Yes.
Keep getting interrupted. Early in previews, we had, during Fareed, his part of, it wasn't his big speech, but early in the second act, when he starts pushing back against some of the stuff I'm saying, there was a moment where an older woman just said audibly from the audience, just said, bullshit. My friend Ryan happened to be seated next to her, and he told her to be quiet. And she was the rest of the next night, at the exact same moment that Michael was doing that, literally the exact same moment, a bunch of people started snapping and clapping in support. So at that point we were like, we're off the reservation. We don't know what's going on here. And there the most jarring one was, is this something I should even talk about?
Up to you.
I don't know. Someone walked out and said and shouted something at us, and I had my back to her, and it was very unsettling, and I kind of lost my place. I was able to find my way back, but. We didn't know what it would do. Sometimes people applaud after Reuven's speech, sometimes they applaud after Fareed's speech, sometimes they applaud after Baron's speech. No one applauds after any of my speeches. But there's, they do it at the end. I get a nice, I think that, it's a provocative play. It's
right.
Designed to provoke, and I don't mean that in any shoddy way. I mean that in a real, genuine way. And as an actor, you want everyone to just shh, laugh at the right moments and gasp, but don't scream at us, So I think like we don't know when something's gonna happen. It actually seems like I think the audiences are coming because people have sent them.
Yes.
I think the later audiences are people, my friend told me, insisted I have to see this play. So I think people are coming with more of a reverence on some level. Like, I don't feel like anyone has come with the intention to disrupt or any of that.
And it has been relatively rare. The real disruptions have been very few.
Yeah.
What was the tenor of what the person was? Was the person angry? No, I'm really curious. Well,
yeah, I don't want to go into
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And what about afterwards? What if, the show I went to, I saw that you were coming out and talking to people, and I'm curious what are the things that people are saying to you and to I saw Michael out there, I saw Charisse, I'm curious what were the conversations that have resonated with you the most?
Yeah, well, one that really stuck with me after our first preview, our assistant director introduced me to a friend of hers, and she said, I think she was in her 20s, and she said, I stopped talking to my uncle years ago over these issues. We just, and seeing this play and hearing the different perspectives, I understand more where he's coming from. And I don't know where it will lead, but I'm going to reestablish communication with him.
Wow.
And I just thought, if theater's capable of any kind of goodness in the world, it's those kinds of things, There's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of, I've had a lot of Jewish people come up to me and kind of like, and there's a feeling of, it feels like they're grateful, for me, and I've been told this, I'm not projecting this, but like that I'm embodying a kind of anguish that they've been feeling for a long time. And I think they're grateful that on a stage where they can sit in the dark and just be with the feelings of that. I also think that I think more broadly, it feels like people are grateful. I think so much of the dialogue about this, especially on social media, it's very first draft, it's very angry, it's very fiery and inflammatory, and if you're not with me, you're against me, and blah, blah, blah. And it's so, I just feel like for someone like with an elastic mind and a big heart and a love for, Judaism and a belief that everyone should live peacefully, and it's a very hard time. So I think there's something about Itamar's worked on this play for so long that this is not a first draft of anything. This is like, this has been vetted, this has been run through scholars across the board. And I think the ability, I always tell people, except if you're a, white nationalist Christian fascist, you won't like this play, because we just throw you under the bus. But everyone else, there is at least a monologue in here that will make your heart sing, wherever you are politically.
Yeah.
And you have to also sit and hear things you do not want to hear and maybe often don't hear. I had an Israeli friend come and he said, I learned something about the Palestinian perspective that I did not know, and he knows quite a bit. So I think there's some relief that there's some sort of civilized container where people can listen to all of this and hear things they disagree with. And also, Oscar has made this point a few times, there's no violence in this play. No one punches anyone, no one slaps anyone. Words are weaponized, but it's a battle of ideas. But I think there's been some palpable relief among people that I've talked to have this all laid out so clearly and cogently, and also not have there be villains.
Yeah.